Well, what I get here is I took the left side axle and had put it up on the table I made here, and the outboard bearing seemed a little on the rough side. So I wanted to pull these bearings out and clean them up and inspect them and see how they're doing. And how I wound up getting them out was I tipped the whole axle assembly vertical. And okay, before I did that, I did wind up pulling off the seal retainer, and then also I took off the two bearing retainers off the inner bearing and tipped it up so in this orientation right here, and then I would take and lift the housing up maybe about 3 inches and then drop it on the shaft on that wood. I didn't have the little 4x4s there, and I did that about 3 or 4 times, and then the axle shaft popped out. I was able to pull the shaft out as you see it right here. And then to get this inner bearing out, I did set the housing up on those 2 little short 4x4s you see there, and then took a aluminum bar and a hammer and was able to catch the outer race. There's just enough of the outer race that you can see, and here, I'll get a flashlight and show you what that looks like in there. There's just enough of the outer race, you can't, I got the bearing out right now, but that you can catch with a brass. I used aluminum. I had a nice aluminum bar, and well, it took maybe a half dozen wraps, and the bearing came out. So glad I got that out. Now I'm gonna knock this bearing off the axle shaft and clean both these bearings up and see how they're doing. This outboard bearing here made a little bit of noise that I'm a little concerned with. I mean, these axles are turning very, very, very low RPMs, but I'm going to see what the shape is, if there's any pitting or anything in this. And this does seem to be an original international bearing. On this inside bearing, I believe, yeah, you can even see the IH emblem on there right here at the top, and the bearing number on this, it says L-260, made in USA. So that's I'm going to call it an original international bearing, but we'll clean it up and see what how they look. And the axle seems to be in real good shape. And one thing I think I'm probably going to do is chuck this up in the lathe quick and just clean up this shaft a little bit. I don't want to remove any material from it, but you can see it's rusted and pitted pretty good, and you can see where the clamp was clamped on the axle. Not worried about this too much, because I'm actually going to be putting my wheels in a little bit on this. They were out quite far, so thought I'd just make a quick video on how I got the axle out of the housing. Okay, well, here I'm going to do a little update on the axle shaft and housings. These are the left and right axle housings, which I do have to clean them up yet. When this weather gets nicer, we'll take them outside and clean them up real good. They're in good shape. There's no issues with them. I got the seals and felts out of the bearing retainers and that. So and then here I have this is the left side axle, and I chucked it in the lathe and polished up the bearing and the seal diameters. There was a little wear mark you can see there where the seal was riding, but I think we got it polished up good and it's going to hold oil good. Everything was really good down here on the spline end. I did chuck on this and use some brass shims just to not mar anything up there. All I was really doing was spinning it so that I could clean it and polish it, and got the OD of the axle here where the wheel hub clamps on pretty good. I think I'm going to change my mind and put the wheels back where they were, just to maintain the good part of the axle there, and that I did clean the center up a little bit before I put it in the lathe. But I did get my my new bearings today. I wound up ordering 2 pairs of the inboard and the outboard bearings, and these are the original bearings here. This is the outboard bearing. You can see it's got the shield, so the grease when you put it in the bearing retainer and seal there goes right into the balls. And these were kind of noisy and a little on the rough side, so I just decided to order new ones. And I was concerned I didn't want to get any Chinese stuff to put back in this, so I went to the international dealer here in Western New York. It's called Monroe Tractor, and I did order brand new bearings, and they are American made. They're made by SKF, and I don't know if you can see that, if that's coming up on the camera. It does say USA on it. But I did want to say that the replacement number, the original number for the outboard bearing was a PC 265, and the replacement for that now, and I did mic everything is exactly the same, is a ST328A. That's for the outboard bearing. And then for the inboard bearing, the original on that was a L-260, and you know, for how fast these axles turn, I probably could have got by with the original bearings, but I just didn't want to take a chance. I was in there, so I figured I'd replace them. So the inboard bearing is an SKF also, and that new number is an ST227B, as in boy. And they didn't have them in stock, but they were able to get them like in 3 or 4 days, so glad I was able to get new American made bearings. And the last thing I wanted to show you, I do have the right axle chucked up in the lathe, and I just wanted to show you what that looked like. And here, all I'm doing right now is polishing the seal diameter and the bearing diameter. You can see there's been bearings on and off here because there's quite a few little scratch marks. This one here, the seal diameter showed a little more wearing than what the left axle did, but it cleaned up really good. I'm pretty happy with it. You can still see a little bit of a line there. I'm probably going to do a little more polishing on it. And I got this side of the axle to wire brush and sand up a little bit, polish up a little bit. So yeah, and here you can see on the chuck end where I'm on the spline, you can see I got some little 1/8 inch thick brass shims in there just so I don't mar anything up on the spline. But that's it for the update on the axles. I'll get the housings cleaned up and then hopefully can start assembling these. Things are coming along, so hope you enjoy the video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.